Welcome to the deep dive. We take the sources you provide and, well, we pull out the key stuff to get you up to speed fast. And for you, the learner, today we're really diving into the numbers in the 2025 racing season.
Yeah, strapping in is right. Our mission really is to look at these racing stats you sent over. We want to go beyond just, who won and lost. We're trying to understand how drivers are really performing across different kinds of tracks.
Exactly. We've got data from Vegas, intermediate tracks like Texas and Kansas, Darlington, a good mix.
And it's a lot of data, let's be honest. It can look like, well, a bit overwhelming.
For sure. So our job here is to sift through it, find the patterns, the meaningful trends that show what's actually going on with these drivers, what's making them succeed, maybe where are they struggling.
Right. And to make sure we're all on the same page, maybe we should quickly touch on some key metrics we'll be talking about, just so the terms make sense as we go.
Good idea. Like, obviously, finish position is basic, but the status next to it, that's huge context, right?
Yeah, totally. Running is one thing, but seeing accident or engine or suspension, that immediately tells you a big part of the story for that race.
Then there's ARP, average running position, basically where a driver hung out during the green flag lap.
Exactly. And WARP, weighted average running position, builds on that. It gives more importance, more weight to the positions held later in the race.
So it kind of highlights who was strong when it really counted near the end.
Precisely. Think of it that way. And GF laps is just, well, green flag laps run.
Yeah.
Simple enough.
Okay. And for speed, we've got SS, speed score. That's like raw pace indicator.
Sort of, yeah. Relative speed potential. Then GR and LR, game rating and loss rating, how many spots they gained or lost weighted by when it happened.
And GR minus LR is the net rating. Quick snapshot.
Yep. Then there's POMS percent of max speed. It's a kind of race-adjusted average speed. Helps compare across different tracks. And a POMS, the change in 2OMS.
Delta POMS, right. That shows if they got faster or slower later in the race.
Exactly. Super useful for seeing things like tire management or setup changes kicking in. And finally, PEEP-ARC positions finished above running position, and WPF-ARC is the weighted version.
So that's about converting your track position into a good finish, especially WPF-ARC at the end.
You got it. It shows that they outperformed where they were running for most of the day.
Okay. So, yeah, finish position to the headline, but all this other stuff, it gives you the whole story, the context.
That's the goal. Moving beyond just good finish or bad finish to the how and the why. So, with those tools ready, let's jump into some specific drivers.
Let's do it. Kyle Larson, that intermediate track race, he won it, and his ARP and WARP, they were like way up there, dominant.
Yeah, really high numbers. Tells you he wasn't just there at the end, he was controlling the race, running up front pretty much the whole time under green.
Which fits his reputation on intermediates, doesn't it?
It absolutely does. He's known for being able to keep speed and manage tires on those tracks. But then you flip over to Darlington.
Oof, yeah. Suspension issue. Started well, but DNF.
Stark contrast, right? Shows how quick things change. Mechanical gremlins can bite anyone, even the fastest guys.
But it's worth noting, like you said, his speed score, the SS, seems consistently high across the races we have here. The speed's usually there.
Definitely. Now, Alex Bowman, second place at that same intermediate track. Started P1, finished P2, strong run.
Very strong. And his ARP and WARP figures, looking across a few races, they seem pretty low, meaning he's running up front consistently.
Yeah, consistently low numbers there suggest he's often in the mix near the lead pack. That second place wasn't a one-off. The data backs up that he's running well.
But then Kansas, an accident, even though he started well again.
Right. Shows that pace is one thing, but keeping it clean, avoiding trouble, that's the other half of the battle.
Okay, let's talk Denny Hamlin, Darlington winner.
Big win there, and the data. His POMS, percent of max speed, was really strong in that race. Suggests he was flat out flying relative to the potential that day.
And his PF4P was positive too, right? Meaning he gained spots relative to where he ran.
Yeah, a positive PFRP in a win, especially at a place like Darlington, suggests really good execution. Maybe pit strategy gained him track position, which is, incredibly hard there.
But then Texas hits. Engine failure.
Again, that unpredictability factor. But look at his Kansas speed score, still strong, even though the finish wasn't quite as high, so the speed was likely there.
Maybe track position, or just how the race unfolded didn't favor him that day.
Could be. Now, Christopher Bell. Talk about consistency.
Right. Top fives at Kansas, Darlington, and the intermediate track. That's impressive consistency.
It really is. Finishing up front across different track types like that is huge. And digging a bit deeper, some races show a positive APOS for him.
Meaning he got faster later in the race.
Yeah, potentially. Could be the setup really came in, or maybe he's just excellent at managing his tires over a long run.
Interesting. Ryan Blaney, another top 5 at Darlington. Seems like he's often running in the top 10, too.
Definitely shows potential. That Darlington run was solid, but again, we see that flip side, the early crash at the intermediate track after starting near the front.
Yeah, tough break.
Yeah.
Consistency in converting those top 10 running spots will be key.
For sure. Chase Briscoe, Texas, suspension issue. Started okay, but couldn't finish.
Always frustrating, those mechanical DNFs. And Darlington. Looks like he finished quite a bit lower than where he started.
Yeah, that suggests maybe a struggle with handling as the track changed, or just difficulty holding pace at Darlington. It's a demanding place.
Bubba Wallace, 3rd place at the intermediate track. Great result.
Absolutely highlights his capability. He can run up front, but then you see the accidents at Texas and Kansas, both after starting in the top 10.
So the speed is there to qualify well and run well, but maybe finding that balance between pushing and staying out of trouble.
That might be the challenge, yeah. Converting those good starts more consistently.
Well, let's see, Joey Logano winning at Texas.
And he started further back for that one, didn't he? He did. Which points to either a really fast car capable of moving up, or some great strategy calls, or likely a bit of both.
And his POMS seems pretty steady across a few races.
Yeah, suggesting a good baseline speed in the car, which definitely helps when you need to come through the field.
Ross Chastain P2 at Texas. Another strong run there.
Yep. But his finishes overall seem a bit more variable, even when his ARP, his average running spot, is decent.
He does have that aggressive style, right?
He does.
Yeah.
And that can lead to great finishes like Texas, but maybe also contributes to some of the ups and downs. Converting that good running position consistently is the name of the game.
And just looking broadly, Josh Berry, kind of mixed finishes, that Darlington accident. Daniel Suarez, similar story, accidents at Kansas and the intermediate track. Austin Cindric seems to be running solidly mid-pack. And just, wow, the number of DNFs overall across these races, accidents, mechanical stuff. It really drives home how much can go wrong.
It really does. You see the different fortunes playing out, some drivers clicking, finding reliability, others maybe fighting the car or just getting caught in bad situations. It paints a really dynamic picture of the season unfolding.
Okay, so we've looked at drivers. Let's zoom back out to those metrics themselves.
Right.
POMS, that change in speed late in the race. Anything jump out across the field there?
Well, when you scan the APMS column, you can spot drivers who consistently gain speed later on. That really points towards, maybe superior tire management or setups that just work better as the track rubbers in and fuel burns off.
Or maybe good adjustments on pit road.
Could be that too. Conversely, you see drivers with negative RPMS. Maybe their car started strong but faded, perhaps tire wear hit them harder, or the handling went away. You'd really need to look at race context to know exactly why, but the number flags it for you.
Yeah, it points you where to look deeper.
Yeah.
What about POR and WPFR? Are we seeing guys who are just consistently finishing, say, 5 spots better than they ran most of the day?
Absolutely. Those high PFARP scores, especially the weighted ones, often belong to drivers known for their racecraft. They're good on restarts, they make smart moves in traffic, maybe their pit crew consistently gains them spots.
So they're maximizing their result, even if they aren't necessarily the single fastest car on track that day.
Exactly. It's about strategy, execution, reading the race flow, really valuable skill.
And flipping that, gain rating versus loss rating, GRLR. Can we see who's really good at slicing through traffic versus who maybe struggles to hold position?
Yeah, you can definitely spot trends there. A high GR combined with a low LR suggests a driver who's effective at making passes and keeping those spots. The opposite. Well, it might indicate someone who struggles in dirty air, isn't as strong on restarts, or just doesn't have the long-run pace to defend. It's a pretty direct look at effectiveness within the pack.
And just the overall consistency level. It's striking. Some drivers are just racking up solid finishes week in, week out. Others have these huge peaks, but also some deep valleys.
And that consistency is gold over a whole season, right? Those solid finishes just keep adding up points. The drivers with more volatile results, they might grab a spectacular win, which is great, but those bad finishes really hurt in the championship hunt. It's always that balance.
Based on the tracks we have here, Vegas, Intermediates, Darlington, Texas, Kansas, any early hints about track-type specialists emerging? I know it's limited data, but...
It is a bit early, but like we mentioned, Larson's intermediate win, Bowman's strong run there too. That aligns with what we might expect. Hamlin went